right, everyone, welcome back to the Southern Utah Hockey Report. Gabe Goche here with Tommy Rupp. We have an awesome segment here. This is an interview with Chayse Laurie and his dad, Bud. Both of these guys I've known for over 10 years. So Chayse is a former player from Las Vegas, Nevada, started in the U6, U8 program in Las Vegas, and now he's playing in the AJHL for the Grand Prairie Storm, and he's
Yeah.
doing awesome, having a phenomenal rookie year. So we'll get into that. And then Bud Laurie, awesome guy, grew up from back east, and really just has been a student of the game, a parent of the game, and he's going to talk about just his experience. Him and his wife Crystal. They have two boys, so Chayse, and then they have a younger son, Carson. Carson is now a full-time baseball player, and he's a hell of a pitcher. So I've got to see him play. But Chayse, Bud, thank you guys for jumping on the show.
Yeah,
Of
thanks for
course.
having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So Chayse, let's jump right into it because again, we want kids to hear your story. We want other players to know your path, because just like myself, right, coming from California, playing hockey, not a lot of people are like, oh, you can do that. And same for you,
Yeah.
being in Vegas, really, there's that stigma of you're not really a hockey player. So let's talk about it. Tell me about your journey, just going from Vegas to now Grand Prairie, and just talk about some of the ups and the downs that you've had throughout your career.
I mean, yeah, some of the downs for sure have been leaving home for
Yep.
sure. Leaving home at a young age. I left home at 13U
Yep.
to go to Arizona. So that was my first AAA hockey experience that year. And went pretty well. And then my 14U year was the same at the Bobcats.
Hmm.
But before that, Las Vegas Storm. Actually, I played mites when I was 6 to 8, and then squirts. I also played for the Storm, so it was pretty cool. And then when the Knights became a thing, the um the junior Knights became a thing, and 12U. No, was it Pee Wee Double A?
11U, buddy. Yeah, you played
11U.
11U. Yeah, that was your
Yeah.
first
So
night year was 11U.
yeah, so it's pretty cool to be a part of the Junior Knights organization for like the first year of the NHL program. So
That
that
is
was
cool.
pretty
So
up.
you,
Yeah.
so you went from Arizona playing with the Bobcats, and then
Yeah.
you went or stayed home essentially
Yeah.
with
So,
the Vegas Junior Golden Knights, right?
that year I played up. So I was 15 playing 16s.
Wow.
And Matt Johnson actually created a hockey school at Game Changer Sports Academy.
Okay.
So I was thinking of like that year can be like a training year for me. I'm on the ice twice a day,
Yep.
3 times a week, working out every day. And I was like, and I'm playing against older and tougher kids since it's a year up. And I really took that year to train. And then after that, I went to Boston for my 16s year at Lovell Academy. So that was a long way from home. And I started high school there. So,
So that was like your first real trip away from home, was
oh
was
yeah,
coming back east.
to Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
First time. Yeah.
And how old were you when you did that?
I was 16.
16. Okay.
16U. Yeah.
Right on. So then from Lovell, where'd you go from there now?
I played another year of U18 at level
Okay.
for like another, let's see, preparation year for juniors because I didn't think I was fully ready from 16s to go play juniors. So I just took that another year just to train. Level has a awesome rink. They have 3 sheets, so open ice all the time. I lived in dorms, 8-minute walk from the rink. So
That's pretty
go
cool.
work out, go skate anytime I really wanted. So it's
And from
pretty
there,
cool.
that's where you got recruited to the AJ. That's where they
Yep.
found you.
Yeah, and then I signed to July going into this year to the
Awesome.
Grand Prairie Storm. Yeah.
Right on. We'll get more into that, but
Yeah.
that's an awesome summary of your path. And Bud, before I get to you, Tommy, Bud, I'd like to go to you and just ask, how'd you get Chayse into hockey in Las Vegas, and talk about what you've seen from him just as he's been leaving home and then coming back.
Well, I've always loved the game of hockey. Growing up in Southern Maryland, I was always a Capitals fan, always going to the games. Unfortunately, where I grew up, the closest rink was about 45 minutes away. And the next closest after that was probably another half an hour further away. So hockey really wasn't a thing, but, street hockey was. So I've always loved the game. And then I always said, wherever I end up, if I have a son, he's going to play hockey. He's going to learn it. He's going to like it. So that was me getting Chayse into hockey. That was kind of like for me because I just love the game. Can't play the game on the ice for sure. I was an all right roller player, but yeah, can't ice skate really. So it's pretty tough. So that was the first. I think Chayse was 4 when we got him started out, at the ice center. And yeah, just kind of a lot of work to get to where he's at for sure. And definitely have seen him mature for sure more than most kids his age, what he's had to go through and the travel, even from a young age. He's by himself a lot. So that would say the biggest factor is his maturity level for him being 18 versus another 18-year-old and what he can do and what he's gone through to get to where he's at for sure. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I can say on that level is he's a well-rounded traveling guy for sure, but very mature for his age, which I think that's going to help him in the future for sure, regardless in hockey or just in life in general. So.
No, absolutely. No, you make a lot of good points there. And actually, you touched on something that kind of leads me into my question. And this is actually for both of you, Chayse. I'll go to you first, and then Bud, you can just follow up after Chayse, wraps up or whatever. So there's a lot of things that people don't expect in the hockey world. For example, like you explaining, Chayse, that you had to leave the house when you're 13.
Yeah.
That's something that you don't typically do in a lot of other sports. And I don't think a lot of parents understand that enough, that it really does take a lot to get out of wherever you are. We had to go through this as well in the state of Utah. Lots of great players, but again, no avenues, no one's really coming to see us, and we're not going to be in those big time tournaments. So everyone talks about the glorious part of the journey and all the celebrations and all the goals and everything like that. But what I wasn't prepared for, at least personally, was just how much adversity I was going to go through. When you put someone, who's 13 and under, or 15 and under, or even 18 and under in another person's home all the way across the United States, that still sends ripple effects through both the player and the family members that are involved. So my question to you, Chayse, is how do you handle the day-to-day adversity? How do you handle the lower days, the days where you don't have dad there and everything like that? And then Bud, after he's done with that, how do you handle the days and the daily adversity comes with trusting that everyone's going to take care of your kid and et cetera, et cetera? Go ahead, Chayse.
I mean, really just going to the rink, honestly, just skating could just help me grow mentality to make me stay at someone else's place. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm being honest. It's a hard question.
You essentially you stay focused, right? Stay focused.
Yeah, I mean, the gym, I can stretch for 15 minutes, or I mean,
you have your goals set.
Yeah,
you wake up, gym, rink, go to go to bed. It's just a routine that helps you get through the ups and downs. Mostly. And you have your goals that you want, which keeps you on track, keeps you on target.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's good information. And Bud, I guess I'll go to you on the daily adversity from the parents' perspective. How is it being in your day in your shoes?
Uh, it's it's gotten easier because he did leave at a young age. So I've definitely had um several years to adjust. I would say at the beginning, it was definitely a lot tougher when he was 13U. Now he was only going down for the weekends at 13U, but there were some times where he would stay for 2 weeks. With they had, if they had league games, playing against the Coyotes, they would always schedule league games during the week because there was 4 kids from Vegas. And they were hoping that they would come down for the middle of the week for the games. Like, oh well, let's just schedule league games there to hopefully, that way those guys aren't coming down and maybe we'll beat them. But
yeah,
so at a young age, when he was 13, so he was sometimes there for 2 weeks at a time, and then 14 the same. So it was a little bit easier adjusting because it was more like it wasn't just right away, bam, he's gone. I was in Phoenix for 2 years, and it was like a week here, 2 weeks there, and then back home, for a week, and then down for the weekend. So it was a little easier adjusting to that. And then his 15U, he was back at home. So it was good. But then he left. Now he's going to prep school in Boston. So now it's the real deal, right? So, but that was the harder thing because Boston is far away. He could, it's not a weekend trip to come home. It's not a weekend trip for us to go out there all the time and see him, so we made our best of it. You just have to have a lot of faith and trust in him, but also who's looking after him.
Right.
And I think communication is key, right? Always communicating with him and wherever he's at. Luckily at Lovell, he got in with a lot of good guys, a lot of good teammates. They were together all the time. They were kind of strict on them leaving the dorms. So it was really good. The weekends, they would always leave the dorm, but they'd always go to one house. And that's where we stayed at all the time. When Crystal and I would go out and fly out there, we stayed with the dad. So it got quite a bit easier there. This year, up in the AJ is a little different because now he is in another state, and now this is his actually first time really billeting with a family because he never really had to bill before. Even in Phoenix for a couple of weeks, he would stay with a family, but like a teammate. But it was like a week here, 2 weeks there, so it really wasn't a billet situation. This is the first year in a billet situation because Lovell, even though he was gone, he was just living in his dorm with his buddies, just like a college, enjoying himself. So this year, when we took him up there, it's definitely a little different because now you're just trusting a family to feed them, take care of them, medical emergencies, anything. So you have to have a lot of trust and a lot of faith, and I think communication is the big thing. So as long as you communicate with the host family and your kid all the time, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, that's good insight.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm gonna switch gears a bit because Chayse, you talked about it earlier in your summary, how you came back and you started to train with Maddie, and you started to focus in on your skill set, and also too, Bud, I wouldn't say it's controversial, but we've had a couple people on our podcast that have talked about young kids playing in like summer, spring, like these elite showcase tournaments versus just working on their skill set, honing in on their skill set. So this is really like a multi-part question, and really I want to kind of open up discussion because Chayse, you've done both, right? You've played in those tournaments, in those showcases, and then you've also done the personal training and just kind of working on your own skill set. So really, I'd like for you to talk about what you've seen from how your game has progressed by either playing in showcases or working on your individual training. Like, what has been more of an advantage for you've seen?
Definitely individual training for sure. I've done tournaments, but it's more when I was younger because I was always playing double A, so I'd
Mhm.
play in the triple A summer showcases to like see if I can handle and compete.
Like play
So,
so like because you talked about playing with you played up, right? So you
yeah,
essentially played in those tournaments, but you were playing at a higher level to see if you could actually compete at that level,
yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. When I was younger, when I was like probably 12, 11, I was playing with a couple California kids every spring, doing
Yeah.
tournaments, going to Chicago. And then once I got older, I've really focused on individual stuff more than going to a tournament and winning something that doesn't mean
Yeah.
really anything. But
Like another medal or another banner, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, like that. But definitely individual training is better than going to tournaments, I think. As
Right
you get
on.
older and see what you need to work on and see what the game like has in store for you, really.
Yep. And so
Yeah.
what's been your biggest skill set that you've really been working on the last couple of years? Like what have you tried to be better at personally?
Definitely my skating, my speed and my edges because I think that's a very important part in the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, you need speed to beat defenders wide, protect the puck. I mean, all that. I mean, yeah. So speed for sure. It's been
Right on. Yep. For sure.
one of my
That's
attributes.
you're
So
100% right. So
yeah.
that's awesome. And so Bud, for you to just that the parental experience and I know you and Crystal and at a young age like families don't have guidance or advisors or or anyone really telling them what to do. It's essentially just coaches and other parents that are talking. So talk about that experience as a parent going to those summer showcases or having Chase and Carson in those summer tournaments and then focusing in on personal training. What have you seen as like advantages, but then also what have you seen from like a cost efficient way of handling it?
So I took advice, from obviously some of the dads that had the older kids that kind of went through it.
Yep.
Um, I wasn't a hockey player myself, and then I think when Chase was probably about, I'd say 9 in that area, is when he started to travel to some spring tournaments and with California, and we did that for a couple of years, and then once you start doing that, you start realizing which ones are good to go to, which ones are not good to go to. We start learning, and then you actually start watching, just watching Chase grow and watching him play, and like I said, what he does need to work on, and what tournaments that he should go to and should not go to. That was a learning experience that I learned, and then, like I say, Chase is right. Once you get to that certain age where you're already established, as a player, and coaches have already known you, you already have where you're going for the next season, then, then it's just all about training. You don't need to go to those tournaments. I think it's nice at a young age, if you can afford it financially, to go to some of those AAA tournaments, meet other kids, meet other coaches. Hockey, in my mind, when you get to the top, say 5%, it's a pretty small world. You never know what coach is going to watch you play, or what coach is going to need that type of player. So I think it's good to a certain age, and then once you realize, okay, well, I think he's got a shot of playing juniors at least. Now it's focused. Let's get training. Let's get focused on what we need to work on to improve, just to keep that going.
No,
So
absolutely, absolutely. Well, now I'm kind of curious, because there's a lot of marketing in the game now, and I think that's for the better. And so with all these avenues of recruiting and everything like that, Chase, I'm curious if there's anything that your program has that kind of sets it apart from an accommodation standpoint. And it's actually a two-part question: is what was it about making that jump to juniors that you were just like, okay, this is a little bit different, or was it different for you, or was it a pretty easy transition?
Well, of course, the kids are older. They're stronger. They're faster. They've been in the league before, so they know what's coming. I played in one junior game before, and it was when I was 16 in the NCDC, and I was like, okay, juniors, it's good pace, it's fast, it's strong. So for 2 years, and then I was 18 this year, and then it was and it was my first game, goal and assist. So I was like, okay, this year I'm gonna start out pretty good, you know. I'm gonna see what happens, and then it's going pretty good, and I just hope it continues. Really.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does your program have anything kind of individual to itself? Just the kind of the things that go into all the equipment or all the training facilities, everything like that. Is there anything that stands out particularly that you're just like, man, I'm pumped that I'm here for this?
Well, yeah. So we get a membership to like a gym pool area. So it's like a little community area. So I get to go there. I get to work out for free. I'll go in the sauna, the steam room. So that's nice. Get to work out. Um, let's see.
Say it's pretty nice here in a small town, and
Yeah, the fans are awesome. The rink
yeah.
is
What,
very nice.
how many fans? Like, what's the size of the arena?
I think it's like 4,500 around.
It's 3,000, and
3,000.
yeah, and they average
3,000.
about 18 to, I think you're averaging
2,000.
1,800 to 2,000 this year.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool to play in front of a crowd. Really never been in front of a crowd, so that's awesome. But
And it's nice, like you say, being in the town, right? Kids know you, they look up to you, if you go to a restaurant, yeah, you play for the Storm. Oh, we go watch the Storm. So I guess pretty good feeling that way, huh, Chase?
yeah, I mean, I do like kid skates, so like every kid says like they go to the games, and it's pretty cool. So
Right on, man. No, that's an
yeah,
awesome feeling. And
yeah.
so like with that too, what's been your best moment so far in Grand Prairie? Like obviously getting your first goal, but
The
like
first, yeah.
yeah. So like tell us about that first goal.
Well, I mean, just like when the forecheck in the D made a bad pass and directed it, they gave me room to walk down to the slot, and I just ripped it. And I was like, saw it go in. I was so happy. Like scoring first game as a
What
rookie,
what
getting
was your
that first.
celly? What'd you do for your celly?
I like sword tucked right away, and I went down on one knee, and I was like, well, it was to make it 3-0 in the third. So it was like a
It was a
goal
clincher.
we, it was
Yeah,
a goal we really needed to like put the game away. But yeah, it was pretty hype.
that's
Yeah,
awesome,
for
man.
sure.
I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Um, hey Bud, so as Chase has gone, from Vegas to Arizona to Vegas again, but then to Lovell and then now to Grand Prairie. This is where I'm curious, and also for our listeners, like how did you and Crystal essentially decide on those areas for Chase as well? Like, was he getting directly recruited by those programs only, or were there other options that you guys had to choose? Like, walk us through that process of making those decisions.
So the decision to when he first left the 13U to Arizona, it was the first year of AAA.
Mm-hmm.
He did the other option that he had that he could have tried out for and done would have been the Junior Kings.
Okay.
And so, but we decided pretty much as a group with Chase, Jack, Fuzz, and Logan as a group to say, hey, you know what? And Ron was our coach down there.
Ron Filion.
Ron
Yeah.
Filion.
Yeah.
And so he wanted all four boys. He was like, yep, I got to have you. And it's kind of that Kevin Atchison, because Eric played there, but Chase also played for Ron and a couple of spring tournaments, those AAA tournaments that you go to when he was a young age. So, and we really liked what Ron had to offer. He made it work for the boys, Friday, Saturday, Sunday practices, and it also made it easy for kids, for dads, take turns on the weekends. So that was the first step, and he really enjoyed it. And so that was an easy thing to go back the second year for 14U. So, and then after his 14U, the Coyotes, pretty much took AAA away from Bobcats. So we're like, all right, so what do we do now? And then they decided to say, okay, only 2 out-of-state players for the Coyotes. So we're like, all right. So, and now he just finished from 14U, and now it's first season of AAA for the Knights, because the Knights in Vegas, has always been AA. So now it's first year, the only AAA team in Vegas is 16U. So we decided to go back there. He did have an option to go to Boston Advantage. And now this was before the Lovell Academy was created, the dorms, the school with a new rink. He did have an option to go back there. He was being recruited to go to Boston at 15U.
Okay.
But he decided he already made the commitment to Matt to stay home and play for Matt.
Yeah.
And we knew that it was a 1-year thing, that he was going to play for Matt 1 year, stay at home. And then, then we were out. So, and then he was still being recruited by Boston Advantage. They invited him to a showcase in Philly. And then that's when they're like, hey, this is what we can do for Chayse. We really want him for Lovell next year. And financially, they made it easy, not easy, but they made it a lot easier for me to go to that route. So yeah, and then that's kind of ended up at Lovell for 2 years, and then this year was another thing. He went to he only did one showcase up in the BC, and just didn't work out. So he ended up at Grand Prairie. So now Grand Prairie was actively recruiting him probably sometime in, I'd say, May, Chayse.
No, it was
even
like
earlier,
March.
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 So, yeah. So they've been actively recruiting him for quite a while, but his goal was to try to get to the BC. Kind of didn't work out. And then going back to what I said before, go where you wanted, right? That's a big thing. You don't want to try to fit in somewhere and try to make it work, and in and out of the lineup, third line minute, fourth line minutes. I mean, it's pretty tough. So yeah, and I think it was end of July. You're like, all right, let's make the decision. Now his coach in Lovell was pushing him to go to Grand Prairie right away, not the Null, because he was also looking at the Null. So yeah, that's where that's kind of the gist of it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think for a parent and for a kid at this age, or even at like U16, U18, I'd say the big thing is go where you want it. Go where he's going to get minutes, go where he's going to fit in, regardless of the level of play. I mean, if you're going to go to the USHL and play 50% of the games, well, then you're not in the right league. So that was kind of what I take out of all this. What I've learned a lot is on a coaching standpoint or GM is just go who wants you. I would say, if to take away from anything, that's a big thing for a parent and a kid is you got to be wanted where you're at, and not just try to fit in. No,
absolutely. Well, and I mean, you look at how much goes into the game, the mental side of things, the physical side of things, everything like that. Chayse, I'm curious. I mean, sounds like you got a pretty cool city that you're in and everything like that.
Yeah.
What do you do kind of in your spare time, if you get any? What are the boys doing in the downtime? You guys going out and I don't know, catching movies, or you guys getting together for lunches or dinners or anything like that, or what do you guys do to kind of wind down and get away from the game?
So like once a week we actually go for a dinner. We get wings on Wednesday, so it's kind of like a group thing. Just like, yeah. And then we go to the East Link, like the gym, the pool, for like a little workout in the morning or workout at night. But yeah, guys, we have poker nights sometimes. Guys like to play some poker, so it gets competitive. But yeah, pretty awesome team. So hang out a lot. So
What
yeah.
are you guys wagering on those poker games? That's got to get interesting with
Oh
money in
yeah,
the wallet.
yeah. 20s buy-in. And we buy
Wow,
for
there you
another
go.
20.
All right.
Yeah.
See,
So
that's
yeah.
big bucks are rolling in
Is that
now.
from
I
the
Oh
never got
yeah.
invited to those poker games.
Do you have a job or what?
Well, so I can't get a job here. I have no visa.
Oh yeah.
So I'm doing the kid skates for some money.
Under some cash, right?
Yeah, so I mean something for food or
Well, that's what I did.
yeah.
I was when I was playing in Chilliwack, my job was two things. We'd wash cars at our owner's car dealership,
Uh
and then we had another owner that was a steel fabricator. So we'd shovel or like sweep up the manufacturing room of all the shavings and stuff like that, and we'd get some from spending cash on the weekend. So,
yeah, that sounds like nice, yeah. Sounds
yeah,
like
so
us,
something
yeah.
like you.
Yeah, something like this, yeah.
Yeah, but you get to be on the ice and do it, right? You don't have to.
Yeah. So it's like kind of fun skating around stick handling still.
Right
But
on.
yeah.
Do you do you have a girlfriend up there or
Uh
what?
no, no
You're
girlfriend,
you're
no.
focused, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at
Good.
I'm at the rink for like 4 hours a day. Um, we work out in the morning, sometimes skills in the morning. So it's just tired when you get home. Talk to the Billet family for a little bit, and then you're hitting the sheets at like 10 o'clock. So
Yeah. Are you
yeah.
so being 18, like are you taking any college classes or like
uh,
what are you doing for school?
I'm doing nothing for school right now. No college classes yet. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
So just kind of taking a year of
a
hockey
break. Yeah,
and a break, right on.
yeah. Just no school's nice.
Yeah.
Probably the best part about juniors.
Yep. Right
Yeah.
on. Bud, what are you and Crystal doing to like because obviously you guys can't watch him every weekend in person. Talk about like how many times do you get to go up and watch him play and then what do you guys do to watch him at home?
So at home, Flow Hockey, they have all his games.
Okay.
So obviously we watch them on Flow Hockey. Um, Crystal has been up to Grand Prairie, I think, 3 times, including when we went up to drop them off. I've been up to Grand Prairie twice, and then before Christmas we went to Calgary. Actually, my folks and my two older sisters actually flew out to Calgary as well from Maryland.
Nice.
He had a 3-game stand in Calgary before Christmas, and he flew in with us. And then just this past weekend, like say Steve McNabb and I, we were just up in Edmonton watching them. And I think we'll have one more trip planned. Hopefully, sometime in the playoffs, whenever the schedule comes out. Hopefully, if they keep going on the same path they're going, they'll easily make the playoffs. And then that comes out, we'll head up there one more time to watch the playoffs. And that will probably be the last time that we would go up there. Unless they get to the Centennial Cup, then I'm sure I'll go back up again because it's in Calgary. And it's not a bad flight, really, Vegas to Calgary. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes in the air.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Nice.
So I would say all in all, maybe like 5-6 times we'll go, I'll go up. So I've been up 4 times so far to watch him play live. Well, actually only 3 times. The first time it was just the training camp, getting them, meeting the billets, getting them dropped off, getting them settled in. And then, 3 other times after that to watch them actual. So
Do you guys have an Air Miles program or like a certain airline you're going with?
well, we usually fly WestJet, but I I have a ton of airline miles, but unfortunately, Southwest does not fly to Canada.
Oh man.
Because I'm on a plane every Friday and every Monday. Every Friday, every Monday, I'm on a plane.
Yeah.
So, because I fly home every single weekend from San Francisco to Vegas, or out of Oakland, I should say,
Okay.
or wherever I'm at. Every once in a while, I'll hang out on the weekend if I have like a early Monday morning meeting that I don't want to get on a 5 a.m. flight or something. I'll just stay for the weekend. So yeah, all my air miles are through Southwest, which was great when he was playing in the States.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'd say most of Chayse's flying was free for a lot of years for him and I, because I flew so much through Southwest. I'd have companion pass, and so anytime I flew, he flew for free. So that was a little bit financially helped, even when we went back to see him in Boston, I always use my reward points, so it made it nice. But unfortunately, like I say, Southwest doesn't go to Canada. So,
No, I'll never forget all the miles that my dad put on the Delta card. We get into the Sky Club and everything, and now every time I fly Allegiant to North Dakota, I'm reminded how jealous I am of that card. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So you got to pick up the next couple of dinners there, Chayse, when you see
Yeah.
you're back. Well, I mean, I'll wrap it up, Chayse, just with one more question, just for you. I mean, obviously, you've lived out quite an entertaining life as a kid, and you got to do some things that not a lot of kids get to do, and that's with the help of parents and everything like that. And obviously, you working with kids on the ice.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious. I think a lot of people are too. Just if you could give one piece of advice to the people that are coming up through hockey, what would it be?
One piece of advice. Well, obviously listen to your parents. That's one. But I would say just do you. Just do what makes you happy. If it's playing professional, if you're trying to play professional, try to play professional. If it's just for fun, just for fun. But if you wanna do it, just do it. Really.
Oh, that's awesome. It's well said too.
And so with doing it, right? Obviously, Grand Prairie is not your final destination, right? So what's your short term? What's the long term? Like what's your goal for next year? Where do you want to be next year? And then like, do you want to continue to play in college and then pro? Like, what do you want to do?
So, next year is I don't know yet. It'd be awesome to come back here. I mean, who knows? Playoffs are to come. So if I do good there and see what happens, but I want to play college hockey. I want to play Division 1, and I want to play pro. So I'm still, if it's pro in Europe, pro in the East Coast League, and if I make the AHL someday, I mean, be awesome, honestly. So,
Do
but
you do you have a family advisor? Do you have someone that's guiding you on
so
that or not yet?
yeah. So actually, we just picked up an advisor after break.
Right on.
So that's pretty new. So it's pretty cool.
Right on.
I think
Yeah,
did
but talk about that.
mom just text you and said that Yale just got your transcripts? They wanted them again.
Oh yeah, I can't get my transcripts from my school.
Yeah, so it's all good. And Mark, I guess, sent them a text to mom, and Yale's got them now because Yale
Yeah.
still wants them. So, not saying you're gonna go to Ivy League, buddy, but you never know.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Well,
that's what
You
it's
never
all
know.
about.
yeah.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned about going to an Ivy League and playing hockey. So like when I was with the Kings organization that year, 2006, 2007, we had three of the toughest guys in like professional hockey. It was George Peros, Kevin Westgarth, and then Paul Crosty. Okay. All three guys were Ivy League.
Oh yeah.
Two Princetons and a Brown.
Really?
Yeah. And then
Wow.
Westgarth used to, like, his brother played in the AHL too. I think he played for the Worcester Sharks at the time or whatever. And I think he was Ivy League and he was a fighter. And I always heard the story that mom always said they can fight whoever they want, but they can't fight each other. That's the only
Yeah. Right.
Awesome. So, Bud, final one for you. Just as a parent, kind of the same thing. Like, not so much advice, but just if you were to tell yourself again 10 years ago, like, what would you do differently?
As in Chayse is concerned,
Yeah,
like,
as a parent.
I would say not a whole lot, as in terms of his path.
Yeah.
I would say like I probably would have had him focus more on skating, maybe, if we're talking, hockey, because that's probably the biggest part of the game.
Yeah.
Is skating. And if you're not a great skater, your hockey IQ better be up there.
You better be putting the puck in the net every shift.
Yeah. Better be, if you're not putting the puck in the net, you better be getting the assist on all of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, but as in a path, you know what I mean? I think the choices that we made, right offhand, I'm saying that it's kind of worked out.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of relieved as a parent, where you can know that I think you did a good job when your kid is playing free hockey.
Exactly.
If you can make it to free hockey, I think you did pretty good. I'd say 85 to 90% of players don't get to play free hockey. So I would say that's a good feeling, when your kid makes it to free hockey. So free billet, free sticks, it's free everything up in the AJ form, which is great.
Well, not sticks, but
yeah. I mean, we paid $400. We paid $400 for 6 sticks that were cost us, $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, that's free.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, and I love it, Bud, because that's same with my parents. Like I wouldn't have gone those places if it wasn't gonna be free, because my parents, we didn't have the money to be doing all that. But the other thing too is you talked about just going where he's getting everything taken care of and paid for, and this is where I'm gonna leave it. That's the difference in recruiting versus being sold on a product, right? And that's where for listeners, for just upcoming, if you're going to a place, or if a team is calling you and they're giving you a price tag at the end, you're being sold on that product, which is fine. Like, you may need that. But into this situation, and like Chayse, the reason you're there is because you're talented, you're good, and Bud, like you said, go where he's wanted, because if he's wanted, they're going to pay for those things. And so when the final conversation is, hey, all you need to do is get his ass here, then you're being recruited.
Yeah.
So, Chayse, Bud, guys, again, thank you for your time. It was awesome having you guys on the show.
Yeah, good to see you again, Tommy. Tommy, pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Thanks for making time. And hey, best of luck, Chayse. Keep her going and everything like that. And Bud,
all right, thank you.
Obviously, nothing happens without the hard work of parents. So keep doing what you're doing too. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it. No, thank you.
That passes the game down, and it'll be Chayse's to pass down one day. So
yep.
For sure. So one last thing, Chaser, do you have a way for people to follow you? Like, do you have an Instagram? Do you have a Twitter? Like, what's your handle?
Yeah, I have an Instagram. Yeah.
What's it at?
Chayse Laurie 16.
Chayse Laurie 16.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for taking the time, and
everyone
watching. Chayse Laurie, Bud Laurie, from Vegas to Grand Prairie, Alberta. I'm Gabe Gauthier. Tommy Rupp, thanks for watching the Southern Utah Hockey Report.
See you out at the rink.